Recording in progress. Sorry, I call to order the August 3rd, 2026 Adrian City Commission meeting to order. If everyone would please rise for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Heath,
Present.
Commissioner Roberts, Commissioner Zeig,
Present.
Commissioner Binky,
Present.
Commissioner Moore,
Present.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Present.
Commissioner Cheshire.
Present.
All commission members present with the exception of Commissioner Roberts.
May I get a motion to excuse Commissioner Roberts?
So moved.
Support. We have a motion from Commissioner Banky with a second from Commissioner Zeig. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Zeig,
Yes.
Commissioner Binky,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
Commissioner Cheshire.
Yes.
Mayor Heath.
Yes.
Motion carried.
May I get a motion to approve the agenda with the amendment of the removal of CR 26-113, Information Technology, a resolution to award a bid for the purchase of a file server. That has been requested by a commissioner to be moved to the regular agenda. So with that amendment, may I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Support.
We have a motion from Commissioner Cheshire with a second from Commissioner Schwartz. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Binky,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
Commissioner Cheshire.
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Zeig.
Yes.
Motion carried.
It is now time for public comment regarding items that are on the agenda. Just to reiterate, this is only for items that are on the agenda. Just to remind everyone, there is a 3-minute time limit, and for the record, please state your name and place of residence. We will begin inside the city chambers first. When we have exhausted all public comment inside the chambers, we will then open it up to the Zoom participants. We will begin inside the chambers now.
Good evening. My name is Brenda Rigdon. I live at 214 East Church here in Adrian. I am here in support of Kevin Martis's proposal for the Fee House. I am an architect with 30 years of experience in historic preservation and the former executive director of the Michigan Historic Preservation Network. I have been an informal consultant to Kevin throughout this process. Kevin has the financial means and the passion to restore this treasured building to its former glory. He is committed to working within the Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation of historic properties, and this building must remain a single family home in order to preserve the amazing historic interior, the tile, the other finishes that have been so amazingly kept intact throughout the years. I firmly believe that Kevin and his wife Carrie will be the best stewards of this architectural treasure. This was a gift to the citizens of Adrian. Kevin and Carrie are committed to making sure that this property will be available to the city and our citizens. And as I said, they will be stewards for this property. Thank you.
Good evening, Timothy Minka, 9019 Brad Street, Adrian. I'd like to thank you for moving CR 26113 into the regular agenda. In this day and age, anything with IT needs to have a little bit of discussion about because we never know all the fine writing that's in it. I did a little search on my own and I really couldn't find anything about it. And so there's just a few questions I would like to hopefully get answered. One being, what company is receiving this contract and what's the total purchase price? Why is it needed? How old is the servers being replaced? And is replacing necessary because the existing server is at end of life or no longer receiving security updates? Does this purchase include installation, data, software, licensing, all the other things that go with it? Funding. What city fund is paying for the server? And was this purchase already included in the approved budget? Just different things like that, some security, data stuff. You know, in this day and age, things can be so fine lined into this thing, one thing's approved and we're approving something else that we don't even know anything about. But thanks for your time.
May I? Okay. My name is Michelle Taylor. I'm a constituent in Adrian, Michigan. I did email this to everybody, except Tiffany, I'm sorry, I need to get it to you. I didn't have your email. Also, I couldn't get it to Schwartz. I didn't have availability to his email. Significant to this, I really wish Mary Roberts was here. I think I would really appreciate her judgment and her wisdom on this. It's unfortunate that she's not here. I still hope we can get her in the loop to weigh in on this. What I'm bringing forward is formal consideration of the question and to move to postpone indefinitely. Formal objection and notice of actions and procedural violations regarding the agenda rules for the partial road abandonment and the utility access easement. Discertification for July 20th, 2026 and the August 3rd under the Open Meetings Act in the Roberts Rule agenda items CR 26-03, 104, 105, and the 8/3/2026 agenda items S01 and S02, partial abandonment and utility decertification utility access easement roads for Railroad Avenue and Geddes Street and/or Avenue, southeast side of Adrian, Michigan, 49221. Dear Mayor Heath and members of the City Commission, my name, and I gave it to you. Okay, I'm writing to formally object and here in person to the consideration of the question, so no crazy talk, and move to postpone indefinitely and place on record, formally record of the violations of the City of Adrian's Commission governing rules and the agenda procedures and violations of the OMA, RRO, and according to the City of Adrian City adopted rules of procedures and City of Adrian adopted rules of procedures under Section 6.7 of the City Charter integrating the preliminary guidance from Robert's Rule of Order statutory compliance with the Michigan Open Meetings Act, OMA, Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, MCL 125.3103, right-of-way and road changes, MCL 224111. The commission is in violation but not limited, heard without adherence to standard procedures, permissible exceptions, improperly advanced required public notification, required timelines, lack of public notice, lack of required disclosure, lack of transparency, failed to include correct identifiers, failure to allow for informal
Sorry, your time
Starbucks
is up.
reviewers. This, because the critical nature of this, I should be allowed to continue out of the Freedom
Your time is
Information
up.
Act.
Thank you.
Let it be noted that I brought forward this, it's very pressing, and this to be, and I was silenced, and it is an obstruction. Okay.
Am I good?
Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. Good evening, Mayor and Commission members. My name is Dan Demelo, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you regarding the future of the Fee House. I was born and raised in Lenawee County, graduated from Sand Creek High School, and earned a Bachelor's of Science degree in engineering from Michigan State University. My family's roots in Adrian run deep, and my parents were born and raised here and operated a local business for over 50 years and employed thousands of people in investing in this community. Today, I serve as a general manager for a $50 million robotic and automation company in Saline. Over the past 30 years, I've managed complex, multi-million dollar projects involving budgets, contractors, schedules, and long-term planning. I've also had a lifelong appreciation for historic properties. I grew up in a 150-year-old home, and my family operated a bed and breakfast in a historic farmhouse for more than 25 years. Those experiences taught me the value of preserving historic architecture and the stories these buildings tell. When I evaluated the Fee home, I saw more than just an old structure. I saw a rare opportunity to preserve an important piece of Adrian's history. In my assessment, the building remains a worthy restoration and an investment. My vision is to restore the Fee House to its historic beauty and operate it as a boutique bed and breakfast that attracts visitors to Adrian. I plan to partner with local restaurants, businesses, and attractions to create destination experiences that encourages guests to spend time and money throughout our community. The property would also be a community asset. I envision a periodic public tours during restoration, beautiful gardens that complement Fee Park, and opportunities for civic, cultural, and community events once a project is complete. Just as importantly, I intend to utilize local contractors, tradespeople, and businesses whenever possible, ensuring that the investment made in the Fee House also benefits the local economy. The Demelo family has been a part of Lenawee County for more than 200 years. My interest in this project is not short-term. It is rooted in a genuine desire to preserve an important landmark and contribute to Adrian's future. I believe the restoration of the Fee House can become a source of community pride, economic activity, and inspiration for future preservation efforts throughout our city. And for the record, I did offer significantly more for the Fee home than what you expect to award it to the other candidate designated in the proposed resolution for consideration. The accuracy of the assertion high bidder is in contention. Please refer to my purchase agreement for details. Thank you for your time, consideration, and service to our community.
Good evening, Commissioners, Administrator Sadler. My name's Kevin Martis. I've worked for about 18 months through a number of administrators with trying to develop a proposal for the Fee House that makes sense for the community. I appreciate the support from Administrator Sadler for my offer. I would point out that not only have I offered $75,000 cash for the property, my offer also includes a commitment to put $200,000 upon our death into an investment with the Lenawee Community Foundation to care for the property into the future. I have an agreement with Hidden Lake Gardens in MSU to develop and maintain the gardens on the property in a fashion that's appropriate, since Mr. Fee also developed Hidden Lake Gardens. It would be great. Paul Pfeiffer at Hidden Lake was ecstatic at the idea of restoring that relationship between the home and the gardens. I asked if they couldn't bring some of their species maybe back to the property, and they're certainly excited about that idea. And of course, the Lenawee Community Foundation is enthusiastic about the idea of maintaining some funds and commit to the care of that property. I feel that the highest and best use of this property is to be not used as a commercial endeavor, but as a home that can be cared for and nourished and maintained by a family that frankly has been committed to restoring homes for the last 30 years. And I think you saw in my packet the high degree of residential and historic reconstruction we've done. So I would hope you'd place an appropriate weight on that. We certainly be excited. I mean, there are many benefactors in the city of Adrian, and they all have more zeros after their numbers in their bank account than I do. But my wife and I would be very excited about making this gift back to the community and restoring it to where it belongs. So thank you for your consideration.
I'm sorry, but I see nothing on the agenda for what I'm here today.
You could do that public comment as soon as we get through the resolutions. Yes, that's general public comment at that time. Thanks. At this time, I will open it up to the Zoom participants regarding items on the agenda. Hearing no public comment, we will move on to our discussion items. And we're going to call Heather Lasky, our HR director, up to discuss different options for the interim administrator position.
Thank you. I did do some research and also spoke with a lot of other communities where I have colleagues, other HR colleagues, who've been through this process of replacing an interim city administrator in the past and kind of how they've handled the situation and what they've done. There seems to be two options that most cities are doing. So I wanted to bring those to you just as you consider your discussion tonight for how you wish to proceed. I'd sent you some preliminary information about those two options, which was hopefully helpful for your discussion tonight. The first option is utilizing a recruitment firm, paying them a fee so that they can do the search for you. Not all recruiting firms do searches for temporary interim roles, but those that do, I did reach out to them and asked them whether, sorry, I'm a little bit hoarse today, but asked them whether they were available to assist us with the search at this time. So essentially, they would bring you candidates that you could interview as you would during a full-time search, and they would really facilitate the hiring process from start to finish for you. The information that I shared with you is about two specific search firms who are available at this time to fill a need if you wanted to go that direction. The second option would be to select candidates from a list that exists on the Michigan Municipal Executives website. These are existing candidates who have expressed an interest in doing this type of temporary placement or temporary assignment. And most of them have done temporary assignments like this in other communities in the past. So again, these are people who've expressed an interest in this. With this option, we would facilitate the hiring process ourselves internally. And I did provide you also profiles of those candidates who are listed on that site currently as available. Unfortunately, the MME does not update their status and whether or not they are currently on assignment with another community. But if there were a candidate or more than one that you were interested in interviewing, we could certainly reach out to them about their status. Obviously, two very different approaches, and there would be some negotiation with either option. We would have to negotiate contractual terms, whether it be with a firm or with an individual candidate in terms of pay and all of that. I would imagine that Burke would be involved in that negotiation process for the contractual terms. We also would have the candidates would have salary requirements, and we would have to make sure that those requirements fit into our budgetary constraints. So the finance director may be involved in that process as well. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about the process and help you in any way as you move forward through your discussion and through your search.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a comment before we go too much further down this road. Friday morning, I had the opportunity to meet for coffee with a longtime friend and mentor of mine. And during our conversation, he encouraged me to consider serving in the role of acting city administrator. My immediate response has been the same response I've said time and time again, that I'm happily retired and enjoying this chapter in my life. As we continued talking, however, he challenged me to reflect on if I had another meaningful way to serve our community. He encouraged me to speak with my husband, seek advice from trusted mentors, and carefully consider how I could best serve Adrian. Over the weekend, I did exactly that through many conversations, thoughtful reflection, and some quiet walks in the Canadian forest. I came to realize that I could continue to have the same deep sense of responsibility to this community. And I believe my experience in public administration, budgeting, organizational leadership, and working with elected boards could help the city of Adrian navigate this time of transition. For that reason, I'd like to formally express my interest in serving as acting city administrator. I also recognize that this process must be conducted with complete transparency and integrity. Effective immediately, I will recuse myself from all discussions, deliberations, and decisions related to this position for as long as I remain a candidate. In addition, I would also respectfully like to request that no action regarding my candidacy be taken this evening. This is an important decision for our community, and I believe residents should have meaningful opportunity to provide public comment before the commission considers any next steps with me, if any at all. Finally, I understand that if selected to serve as acting city administrator, I would resign my position as city commissioner before accepting that appointment. Whether I serve as a commissioner or I am entrusted with this new responsibility, my commitment remains the same: to serve the people of Adrian with integrity, professionalism, and a strong focus on moving our community forward. And with that, I think I'll slide over there for the rest of this discussion.
I was going to also bring that up. I had been, over the past several days, multiple residents have reached out to me suggesting that Commissioner Banky be considered for the interim city administrator position. One email summarized it well with reasoning by noting his overall experience, which he just shared. I also want to be clear that I don't think the commission should make a decision tonight. Rather, I think it's worth acknowledging that this idea has come from multiple community members and deserves thoughtful consideration along any other options that were given to us by our HR department. I believe tonight is an appropriate time to ask if he is interested. Clearly, he is. And if so, to discuss whether this is an option we would like to explore further. If so, to invite additional public feedback before making any decisions.
If Commissioner Benke was interested, couldn't he follow through process we've already got established? Or not
Yeah.
established, but through these two firms, go through an interview process, go through that. And I too think that if he's interested, I think a resignation now would be appropriate for him to resign if he's actually looking for this position, even as an interim, and no longer be part of any of the discussions. Sitting back is one thing, but a formal resignation would show a commitment that he is interested and wants to be a serious candidate for this. That's my thoughts immediately, because I didn't know this was coming, I thought. And I haven't been informed about many of the things that happened when we picked the new administrator.
Could you answer that question, that beginning question that Commissioner Schwartz had about?
What was the first question? Sorry.
Whatever process we decide, he could go through that process.
Yeah, I think tonight should be you choosing what your process is. And so if you determine that you want to select person A, B, and C, whether it's profiles from this list or other people, you could do so.
I too think that it's important that we look for characteristics, and as a commission, we decide what characteristics, what traits are we really looking for in an administrator. And then from there, I think that helps us build our decision and keep going forward, and then decide which firm of these, if that's what we want to do. Or we could open it up to people that were administrators that aren't on either one of these lists, do some postings and things like that. You have former administrators from Tecumseh. You have former administrators from Lenawee County that are well-versed in what happens with. So I don't think we should start limiting things. I think we should start opening avenues for discussion, public opinion, public input before we start doing anything. Let's get characteristics. Let's get what our goals is. What are the traits that we want? What is the commitments that we want? And move on from there.
We could absolutely do a job posting if that's the direction that you wanted to go.
Would you be able to do that with, if you were going to do that, would you be able to do that in, I guess, send it out to those names on the MME site to see if there's any interest there? I don't know if that's a thing. That's
So
what I'm asking you.
yeah, since they're already on the list and have made themselves available, it's just a matter of reaching out to each of them directly and saying, are you available? Because they're saying, I'm openly applying to all positions that are open for interim city administrators by putting themselves on that list. So, but as far as posting for other potential people that exist out there, you could do that. It just really depends on how quickly you want to have a person in place, how long you want the process to take overall, because it is an interim. So, and another thing, obviously, you would have to establish is what's the duration for the interim and how long would you want that person in place before you potentially do a full-time search?
Can you give us a timeline of if you did a posting versus just looking at the list from MME? And I know you would have to do a lot of that work as well. And in comparison also to like one of the search groups, like, can you just kind of I know I'm throwing you on.
Oh, it's okay.
Like, just asking you like those different scenarios for a timeline.
Yeah, the posting, you wouldn't want to post something for less than a couple of weeks just to make sure that it actually gets circulated out there. So job posting, you're talking 2 weeks minimum. And then you could get candidates who are currently employed, so they may have to give a notice of some sort to their current employer. So, I'd think at least a month potentially, if not quicker, if it's someone who's not currently employed for a search. As far as someone off the list, these are mostly retired people who, if they're not otherwise engaged in a temporary assignment, they could potentially be available right away. And then if you use a search firm, they're indicating they can start to send applicants your way right away. And when I say right away, I mean within, a couple days or at least within a week. But there are some things with a search firm that may cause that process to take a little bit longer. There's at least one of those two firms requires a contract before you engage in services with them. So there would be some negotiation there, but you could have applicants in hand from a search firm within a week, if that more directly answers your question.
And the search firms are not regionally, those are national search firms, correct?
Yeah, there
Do
are.
we have any idea on, availability of even who they would have in this area? Are we looking at bringing somebody from very far away if we went that route possibly?
I spoke to them about that because neither of the two firms that are available to do this type of search right now are Michigan. They're in other states. So I talked about their history with placing candidates in Michigan. And, of course, they can't directly answer that question. They've all done searches in Michigan before, but they won't answer the question about what's the market look like right now. Do you have readily available people right now? They want you to pay before they give you that information. So it's hard to say how many people you would get candidate-wise and what the quality would be. I wish I could give you a better answer on that.
Mayor, would it make sense, as I talk to business community leaders that are current and retired, to get a committee of executives that are retired or working in the city of Adrian to work with you in this commission to find our next city administrator?
I think for interim, and I mean, this is just my opinion, everybody can weigh in, but I think for interim, you're looking at somebody that is looking at that temporary, position, and I think it's it's, you know, these people have been vetted to want temporary, or whichever route we go, that is what they are looking at. I actually had a conversation with Heather today and asked the question, because I know one of the options was, there's an option for them to be temporary, like that they're open to be hired on after that. And so we did talk about that, but that has a lot of ifs and different situations. And like, as we go forward in our search for our permanent, I guess permanent's the right word. I don't know what the right word is, but for our permanent city administrator, that, you know, that might be something, or, you know, so, and if they do that. Some other thoughts is that, with this, that. Not all of the people are most likely not going to be, you know, local, you know, if somebody from, if we did our own posting and we got some people that were local. And I know, you know, that's concerned, but what I also do like about the people on the MME site, or even if it was like one of these these are people that, well, we are assuming they should have experience, you know, and they have experience doing temporary assignments, which is a big task and very different from a person that's been used to being a city administrator, not in a temporary situation, you know, and in more of a crisis mode, I guess you could say. So I don't know. I do like the fact that they have experience. A lot of them are, like, as Heather said, you know, retired, or, you know, but they've had experience in that realm. But it concerns me when they don't know us, but sometimes that can be a good thing. You just never, you just never know.
I'm
Like,
just-
is it good? Is it bad? I don't know.
I'm just concerned with Commissioner Banky. Were you looking to be temporary and maybe possibly full-time city commissioner, city administrator?
Yeah, my intent is not to be the next city administrator. An acting role is what I'm looking for, and I've heard consistently about concerns about who wants to come here. And I think that this is the perfect opportunity to put some space between where we are now, focus on that strategic plan, which you know, has been out there for a while for a need, and then work on what the commission and my replacement would see as that future direction of the city. And then when the commission is ready, not to exceed a year, say we're ready to pull the trigger and we think things are ready to go. We have Town Square, you know, up and completed. We got these other projects ready to go. We want our next permanent person, and then happy to, just as I did at Adrian Public Schools, serve at the discretion of the elected board.
Thank you. And also I was curious, since you're retired, would you be doing this pro bono, or are you expecting a salary?
I would expect a salary, but I would also expect, you know, a substantial amount of work aligned with that, similar to when I've consulted and worked in other locations post-retirement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Heather, I have a question for you again too, is, you know, my concern with our regular search with going the MME route, these are my concerns, is just the weight it's gonna put on you of more that you have to do. You know, I just don't know how much is, you know, that was why, oh, well, it'd be nice to not have you burdened down with, you know, and let a search group do it, but I really do feel if it's an open search, if it's the MME, you know, I feel that is the right way to go. just based on our conversations, but I just don't want to, do you have extra help to help you out in this? Because I know this is going to be a lot on you. That puts a lot more on you. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, that's my job, so don't worry about that. Yeah. No, we're all, our staff here's a team and there's plenty of people to get it all done. So don't worry about that.
Have we thought about reaching out to former Administrator Nelson? Have we thought about reaching out, Dr. Timmis, who used to be the superintendent of Adrian, that ran the school district in a very efficient, a very effective way and built up the school district, where we were nationally recognized, who has skills about change. Have we thought about people like that who are familiar with Adrian? I would hate to see that, and I'm going to be totally honest, I've worked for superintendents who came in as temporary. And I don't think there was much of a steering focus. I think it was, they came in, they tried to do what they did. They had no investment in the city. They really were here for a job, knowing they were leaving, and it really didn't take heart. So I'm very concerned about those things. And a lot of those candidates who are either retired or they've lost jobs somewhere else or things like that, that raises a very high level of concern to me. And so I think we need to reach out as a city, build our attributes that we want, contact people that we know have those in our local arena, and then move onward from there. And if Commissioner Benke wants to be part of that, I don't think he could still keep and maintain his position on the commission. I think that's a huge conflict. And that is also a current concern for me. The election would be back in 2 years and he could run again quickly if that happened. So I think that if we want a commitment, we could get a commitment that he's really willing to do that, even as an interim, because if it's a year or more, because I know Will, and I'm sorry, you want to get out of here. And I mean, but the place that we're in right now needs a very delicate, very thoughtful, and very cautious, because last time we tried to rush in anything, it got turned down, and that was chaos for the city. So we can't afford that again. So I think as a city, it's our responsibility to reach out to people. It's our responsibility to get recommendations somehow from citizens of people that they know that would be interested, that are familiar with our area. And that's how I feel about it, because another failed search, another failed attempt, get somebody in here that's just, just here to be here, is a dangerous thing for us to have.
I would just like to add too, that I think going forward, you should, as an HR person, have a list of local candidates. So in the future, when something like this happens, whether it's former treasurers of the city of Adrian, I'm not sure if Cindy Prue would be interested, or some of you that's retired being a CPA, because we don't have a balanced budget, and we need someone that understands financing of this city. So I hope you find a priority that someone knows budgeting and finance.
Heather, I want to thank you for putting all this time into gathering all of this information for us to digest tonight. I guess I'm inclined or not inclined to use a hiring firm for a temporary position. I don't think we need to be spending money on that. I would be in support of doing interviews with a couple of candidates from the MME and Commissioner Benke. I think that it would be great to have somebody who knows all of the issues that are going on right now. That way there's not a huge lapse in transition time. I just worry, I don't have any, qualms about opening it up to other people in the community, because I think that's a great idea. I just worry about that taking time away from finding a permanent city administrator. Because again, Will would like to get out of here, and I would like to make that as quick a transition as possible without being hasty, but I just worry that if we open it up, then we're going to have, another June where we have a meeting every single Monday and then we come out with nothing. So I think if we have you know, a couple of parameters like Commissioner Schwartz was saying that we're looking for in candidates, and we take from the pool that's already said that they're interested in doing this temporarily, that is kind of where I'm sitting for this.
My question still is, what does Commissioner Banky do? Does he resign? Do we keep him on the commission and go with 6 people to pick the new administrator, the new acting administrator? What are we looking for?
Is that something that we could bring to the public to discuss, perhaps at our next meeting or a special meeting, to see how they feel about it and gauge the temperature of that? Because transparency is obviously the key here, but
I truly like that idea.
Yeah.
I think that we let the public decide. I think that the voice of the public, or the voice of reason from the public, is valuable. And then we could just get a grasp and see what they're doing. I really don't want to rush this. I want it to be thoughtful, thorough, and well versed for how we're going to speak about this and what we get. I don't know, that's just kind of where I'm at, because last time we rushed it, it was a mess.
Well, Commissioner Aaron Chester, I'm just curious what you think, because I think I don't want to rush it either, but now your amendment was to wait 6 months before we went for another search. Now we're doing it before 6 months. I'm just wondering what your thoughts were on this.
Yeah, when I had put that forward, I hope my intent came across as what I wanted it to, but that 6 months would be the end of it, that we would have somebody in place by that 6 months. Not necessarily that Mr. Sadler would be sitting in that chair for 6 months and then we start something new. Yeah, it was just like a definite timeline that we have somebody else in 6 months. So, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. So Commissioner Zach, you want to, Zyke, I'm sorry, Zyke, sorry about that, I apologize. So are we talking about opening it up for 2 weeks, you said, or the HR for 4 weeks for candidates to make show their, if they want to apply for this job? What were you looking?
I was just saying, if you were going to post a position, you wouldn't want to post it for less than 2 weeks. That's my experience.
Okay, thank you.
Is there professionally, I don't know if this is something for the city attorney to answer or not, but would there be a conflict if Commissioner Banky continues to sit on the commission until we move forward with said applications and he applies?
My initial reaction is that no, there is not a conflict. I can research further, but he's recused himself from any discussion. He's not going to vote on a search committee or anything, is my understanding. I don't see a conflict that he has thrown his hat into the ring, so to speak. But if the commission would like, I could prepare a memorandum on it.
I too think that when we're talking about the commission and the relationship, I think that during the last election, Commissioner Benke was very outspoken in who he supported being on the commission. In fact, in one of those quotes said, "This is the best for me and the best for Adrian." And 2 of those commissioners are now sitting on the board. So while it may not be an open bias, he supported both verbally and financially with candidates that are currently on this board. And I find that a troublesome thing based on loyalty and that. And that's just putting the open things on the for the public to understand that he did that. And he said that, and his actions show it. And so with those people, does that create a conflict with people that he supported and did that for being on this commission?
I don't love the suggestion that I would be biased towards his hiring. I feel like I can keep a pretty level head and separate those things. I think that Commissioner Banky has a huge firm grasp of what's happening in the city. That's really the only reason that I would support that, not because he supported me verbally during the last election. Just gonna throw that out there.
I'd like to agree with that, because it still was in the voters' hands. And I don't believe he had any intention of ever becoming the city administrator until push came to shove and the community continuously, can I finish? The community continuously asked and continuously emailed. This isn't something that a single commissioner came up with. This is what everybody has been consistently saying, listen to our community members. This is us listening to our community members. That's it.
And I'm going to say that I have not received any recommendations for Commissioner Banky. I have heard several no for Commissioner Banky. So depending on what people communicate or how they communicate with us, mine would just be the total opposite of yours. And that's okay, because that's part of what we do. So I think some previous actions by the commissioner with Greg Elliott, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Commissioner Banky wrote a letter of recommendation when he thought Craig Elliott was looking, an unsolicited letter of recommendation to for Craig Elliott to get another job, because there was a hint there that at that time, as he was getting ready to transition from the superintendent, he was interested in becoming the city administrator. If that's not true, I would like Bob to answer, or Commissioner Banky to answer that, but that's been told to me several times.
City Administrator Elliott and I did write a letter of recommendation for him. And if we look at all the steps from Mr. Elliott's departure to Vince's hiring, to Chad's hiring, to Will's interim replacement, to now, those 8 steps along the way, every one of those have continued to remain the answer, that I'm happily retired, and that I do not want the full-time city administrator position. I'm willing to assist the city for consideration in regards to an interim role, because I heard from you, Commissioner Schwartz, who wants to come here.
I've said that 100 times.
And I'm here, and I want to stay here, and I want to help. And if this is an avenue to provide assistance to the city within the time frame that Mr. Sadler has for his resignation to take place, I would be very happy to offer my services. If you want to post with the MME individuals and bring them in and interview them as well, I think that's a great idea. You know, I'm not afraid of going head to head, and if there's a better option out there, I hope everyone unanimously supports that choice. To bring in someone that is, you know, has experience, may not know the city, but has that experience. I, you know, managed and oversaw a $38 million budget, which is larger than our city budget, and I grew the fund balance, doubled the fund balance during my time there, so that we didn't need to borrow from the state and use state funds in cooperation with an amazing finance team. And I know that we can right the ship and the concerns that are listed on there with the sales that are falling far short from the projected amount within that budget creates a concern. So I would like to continue to move forward, and I'd be able to and happy to answer those questions as part of a more official interview process where there's other people that you consider as well.
And I'm listening and I'm trying to hear and absorb what you said, but when we've talked about, well, I'm not interested in doing this, and you made that known. And then over the weekend, you decided, well, now I'm interested. What guarantee would we have that you're not going to change your mind again based on your previous actions?
So my commitment to the city of Adrian and my involvement in multiple aspects of the city, I would hope would not be questioned. My long-term
I'm not
focus
questioning
here.
that. I'm just questioning you changed your mind.
Yes.
And how will we not know? How will we know? What guarantee would you have that you're not going to change your mind again after serving as an interim?
Right. All I can give is my word.
I mean, is that an interview question that we can ask any candidate though? What's your guarantee? Because it doesn't seem like that's worked out well for us historically anyway.
No, those guarantees have not worked out historically for us.
Heather, if we were to have you reach out to the names on the MME and open up the search, do both those things, what are we looking, what do you need from us? Or what would we be looking at a timeline if that is the direction that we decide to go? And I'm asking this because I was approached by a citizen over the weekend. I was approached by the media Friday night, asking me about if I had heard about Bob Banky and wanting to do interim. I had not heard it, so I definitely did not lie. I was telling the truth. I had definitely not heard that. I was approached by one citizen over the weekend that brought it up, but I had not heard anything else. And I just didn't know if it was just somebody saying that, because I've also heard other things last week about other people. It wasn't just about Bob. So I didn't know the validity of it. I'm a little bit surprised right now and a little bit shell shocked. So I'm trying to figure out like which direction we go, but I just didn't know what you would need from us if that is what we decide to do.
If it's a matter of reaching out to the people on the MME list, there's no posting necessary for that. So it would just be a situation where I would reach out to each of those candidates and gauge their interest. If they're not on another assignment, potentially they would be interested. So I would just reach out to each of those candidates and then report that information back to you. If you did want to post the position, then I could put a job posting together. The timeline on that's a couple of days.
I think in order that Commissioner Banky is interested in it, I think we need to do some type of hybrid that offers him the opportunity to apply and to interview, as well as reaching out to former city administrators or finance officers or people like that too. So, and get the public's opinion of what they want, because I see we have two totally different versions of Aaron says he's gotten a lot of positive emails requesting that. I've not gotten any requesting. I've gotten communication that that's not a viable opportunity for Adrian. So I think the public needs to have some voice in this too.
Is 2 weeks long enough, or do you have it posted for 30 days?
For a higher level position, 30 days is ideal. But as
30 days.
Yeah, all I was saying is I wouldn't post something for less than 2 weeks. As far as getting input from the public, I would, if that is what you're asking, we would need to know how you want to do that. And then as far as targeted, recruiting, reaching out to specific people, this is your hire, so I would need to know who it is that you're wanting me to reach out to if that's the direction here.
I guess I would still like to reach out to the candidates that Heather compiled for us and open it up to Commissioner Banky as well. I just think that the interim situation needs to have a little bit more of a rush, and then we can focus on finding the right city administrator for a permanent position. That's what I would like to see, because I feel like we're kind of blending our full-time city administrator search and our interim city administrator search. And I don't think we need to spend, maybe it's not phrased well, but maybe not spend as much time vetting an interim as we would our full-time city administrator potential candidates.
Well, I would disagree with you because this interim city manager is going to be probably the most important thing we do, because whoever that individual is has to deal with a lot of challenges, and they need to clean up City Hall before the new city manager comes in.
I just think that we should do a hybrid and not just limit it to the candidates on either of the two firms. With Commissioner Banky, I think that the city should also reach out. If it's 2 weeks, 21 days, I don't know. But there are some other people that are very well qualified that might be interested in coming here too, that aren't on that list, but live in the area. And so it would be a convenient thing for them to come to Adrian, that do follow Adrian. And I mentioned a couple of names. Yeah, I think Commissioner Moore has done that. So I think that it would behoove us to do one of the firms, put it out for people. Will, I hope you can last 28 days. I didn't talk to you before. I don't know. I won't want to put you on a spot like you were last time when we said that and you did it out of the goodness of your heart. But I would hope that we could do something like that. I think that serves the public, it serves us, it serves MML, and it can serve our city.
That 30 days though is just for the job posting to be posted, not necessarily for us to do anything else with it, correct? That would be, and then we do interviews and then we do
Well,
everything else.
there's several things being talked about here. Commissioner Schwartz said to use a firm to do the posting. So I don't know what their timeline is if you use a firm for a posting. And then there's been other suggestions to put a post out ourselves. So we could dictate the timeline if we put it out ourselves. As far as using a search firm, you know, they can do targeted searches however you tell them to do those targeted searches. So it would be, if we were to hire a firm, there would be a negotiation that would happen between us and them. I would, along with Burke, probably communicate what it is that your criteria is, what exactly you're looking for. Are you looking for a targeted search for somebody who may evolve into a full-time person? Are you looking for, what's the duration? What, all of that criteria. So.
And I too think it's important that we put the characteristics we're looking for in the leader. Before we hire anybody, we decide this is what we want. If you're the firm, don't bring us up people that don't fit these. This is what we're looking for.
Yeah, you would certainly be able to dictate that. And I would guess that you could vet the posting that goes out. I mean, we'd be paying them to do a search. So would be up to you, in my opinion, about the content of the post, if that's the direction that you wanted to go.
Again, I would prefer not to pay a firm for an interim position, but I think that we could manage that in-house for less of a cost, especially if Heather is confident that she could handle the applications and the vetting process.
I agree with that. And again, not spending extra money where we don't need to. And then having a 2 to 3 week job posting. I mean, again, keeping it short so Mr. Sadler can get back to his more comfortable place at the utilities department and stop trying to handle all of the chaos that we keep creating.
What would it mean if we just got the list of names and set out, we're looking for this on ourselves as a city, not hiring a firm? What would they charge us just to give us their list of names and contact information?
I don't know that they would do that, but I can find out.
I'm asking, I don't know either.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll say, we have these people. You know, or
You're saying get their database of potential candidates and pay them
I'm just saying.
pay them a lower fee for us doing the legwork?
Yes, much lower. Not a full-fledged search, and we just decide to do it. We haven't been successful lately, but maybe we could actually become successful with this.
I've not heard of that before, but it doesn't mean that it's not a possibility.
My other fear with, using one of the searches that they're not in the state of Michigan. And so how local are the people? I mean, that's why I did like, not originally, I liked the idea of the search, and doing that. So I have changed my tune in a couple days of reading through and looking at everything, but having that list of names from MME, and if we're doing, doing that plus that hybrid of that plus a search ourselves where people can apply, then at least those are people in Michigan that have done temporary assignments in Michigan. I feel like it's just a group of people that would at least be more of a viable option, I guess, in addition to our search. But I definitely like the idea of the hybrid approach, but I think I also lean away from the search group because we're also going to be looking for a, not an interim city administrator. We are going to be going through the search process with a search group for that in the near future. But I just think when you do that, they can be from all over the country because they might be, then if they're applying, they're willing to move here. But for a temporary, I worry if we pay one of these groups and then we get one, maybe two, and they're not very good candidates. And now we've spent money on a search, but it was because they were like, oh, I'm not moving to Michigan in the middle of like not nowhere, but kind of, like we're not by real close to a big city or, I just worry that, what would be the quality of those candidates just because of them not being familiar with it and being possibly from far away.
We have a list of the last two searches that we had with Yao and Yao. We have that information. We don't even have to ask for that. We've got it. That's provided to us.
That's very true. So when we go to this vote, where are we thinking? I mean, how are we feeling about that hybrid approach? I mean, what are you thinking?
I guess, do we want to bring it to the public to ask their questions and have their input before we move forward with an attack plan? Is that something that we could do?
I agree with that.
That's adding another 2 weeks. And pushing things more down the road. That is a huge, huge complaint from the public every single time. So trying to make a decisive choice on things that are muddy is something that I think the commission needs to really work on. And this is a good opportunity
What is your suggestion?
to do, to look through the MME list and let Heather facilitate that as you said, you were well equipped. Giving it a 3-week posting and see what we can come up with.
You would
What am I
still
missing?
have public input then because
Well, right.
you're giving them plenty of time to come.
Just making sure we have a public.
You
comment
would
at that
have,
point.
I mean, it would be out there that this is what the plan is. I mean, that was kind of what I was also thinking, that it would just give, it would give 2 meetings of input probably before you're ever even doing, so like almost a month before you're even doing those interviews, so we could get that input. And if they don't come to meetings, we're gonna get emails. That's what happens, or they're going to call us, but we could gather input, and it would be in, a decent amount of time it gives the public to respond.
Is there an option for a special meeting? I hate to commandeer another night of your guys' time, but is there, between our next commission, regularly scheduled commission meeting and now, is there a possibility for us to have that input before we even start looking at applicants?
I think that would be a great idea, and then that would be a good week for us to figure out what those characteristics we want are.
I like that too.
What are we all doing next Monday?
I can be here.
I'll be here.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, I got a call from my cardiologist today and I have to have some emergency testing done tomorrow. So I can't answer that question right now.
You can give me a list of your characteristics and I'll bring it to the table.
I can do that.
Are you asking for, just to clarify, are you talking about a special meeting where you have a public forum where people can come forward and give their input? Or are you asking city staff to reach out to people for input?
My thought was a public forum for them to come give it. That's my take on, so that's my understanding.
I don't want to put another task on city staff's hands.
No.
I just wanted to be sure.
Do something quick on the internet. Use a
Survey.
key or something like that. And put that out so citizens that can't come next Monday can put their quick answers or something, put that together and get that done.
I believe we can do that. I'm going to refer that question to our survey expert over there, Michelle.
I would just need to know what questions you would like on the survey.
Is that something we'd like to discuss now so we can move forward?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
What questions do you want on there? What are you thinking?
What do I think? I think that we should talk about personal relations and personnel relations about, you know, what are you looking for? Are you looking for somebody that's open, that's dedicated to certain things? I think that, you know, are knowledgeable about what happens in the city, what the rules and regulations are. I mean, what the charter is. How have you dealt with, you know, failing budget? I mean, I'm just rolling these off, but I think those are some questions. And I would think that I'm a guy that thinks you need 24 hours. And so if we could all just email those to Heather tomorrow, and then she could combine, because I bet they'll probably come to 5 or 6 major themes.
Well, and I would like Commissioner Roberts' input into that as well. But I am also a 24-hour person that needs that time to really think on that. So I agree with that.
I have about 11 questions that I have written out that I'll just email to you because it's already done. So
how did you already do it?
Because I think about this every single moment of my life.
Do we want to go with our regular scheduled 6 o'clock time or earlier time, or what are you thinking for next Monday?
I think 6 is okay.
I'm good with 6.
See.
All right, I do know that there was something scheduled, but that I'm on that committee, but I'm gonna try to get that changed, or at least to see if I can get out of that for next Monday. It's
DDA.
part of the interview committee for the DDA. So also very important, but I will try to get that maybe moved up or later, or they can just meet without me. So 6 o'clock for a special meeting next Monday, August 10th. All right.
Thank you.
So let's get that out there for we'll send you stuff, and then we'll try to really put that out for the public to give input. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your work.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
absolutely.
Heather, for everything that you did for all of this. And I also, finishing up this discussion, wanted to thank Mr. Sadler for all of the hard work and dedication that you put into these past couple months. It wasn't easy, I'm sure. And so thank you to you and your team, and I respect everything that you did for us while you're here. And I also very much respect your decision to step down.
6 o'clock.
Yeah, 6 o'clock. I heard you ask, Commissioner Schwartz.
Yes. I'm trying to put it on my calendar right now.
Moving on to our consent agenda, may I get a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion from Commissioner Cheshire with a second from Commissioner Zeig. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz.
Yes.
Commissioner Cheshire.
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Zeit,
Yes.
Commissioner Banky.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Under our regular agenda, under ordinances, ordinance number 26-003 is a second reading and consideration of an ordinance to amend the zoning code of the city of Adrian by amending several sections of chapter 106 as attached in relation to flags and signage. May I get a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Support.
Are there any questions or discussion on this from the commission? We have a motion from Commissioner Banky with a second from Commissioner Zeig. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
Commissioner Cheshire.
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Zeit,
Yes.
Commissioner Banky.
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Ordinance number 26-004 is a second reading and consideration of an ordinance to amend the City of Adrian Code to add sections 74-178 through 74-193 to Chapter 74, Article 5, Stormwater Utility. May I get a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Support. Support.
Are there any questions or discussion from the commission on this ordinance? We have a motion from Commissioner Cheshire with a second from Commissioner Schwartz. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cheshire.
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Zeit,
Yes.
Commissioner Banky.
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Under special orders, Special Order -1 is a public hearing to hear and consider comments regarding the abandonment of a portion of Railroad Avenue. I now call this public hearing to order. Anyone wishing to speak about this may approach the microphone. We'll have, I will ask that you state your name and place of residence, and you have a 3-minute time limit.
Michelle Taylor, Adrian, Michigan. Continuing where I started off. Thank you. Let me pull it up on my phone. Okay, so that is what that was regarding specifically. If I may, I guess I will start over. Can we stop the clock while I try to find it? Oh, I'm here. Can you stop while I find it?
Can you stop it real quick, Michelle, while she finds it really quick? Would anybody else like to approach while she looks for it?
Here, I got it right here. Just a second. Okay. Okay. All right, thank you. Nope, it's not pulling up. Okay.
Anybody on Zoom is also welcome to speak up. It doesn't have to be somebody inside chambers for this hearing.
Okay, Michelle Taylor, Adrian, Michigan. All right, so adding to this, earlier I started, it is a formal consideration of question and to move to postpone indefinitely, a formal objection and notice and actions and procedural violations regarding the rules in the, for partial amendment and, utility access easement, discertification for July 20th, 2026, and the August 3rd under 2026 under Open Meetings Act, the RRO, and under the City of Adrian's items, let's see, regarding the CR 26104, CR 2605, in the 103, 104, 105, the CR 26, that was on 720, and the 8326, the SO1 and the SO2 that we're discussing today. Unfortunately, today on here, I don't see it was the easement, the removal of the easement of the electric utility. It is discussed in my letter that I sent to you guys. Importantly, I have all the rules and everything, why it's not in compliance, and why the significance, because ignoring this and the failure to post because of the nature of it can be it can cause, sorry guys, I'm not doing very good at this. All right. Additionally, the commission confusingly listed on said agendas and specific street as having two different names that can be said to be misleading and without transparency for the public. Listed as Gatus Avenue or Gatus Street. Also, in the nature of this, a detailed failed to, in addition to failing to disclose the above actionable identifiers required by the OMA and the RRO, in a violation of failing to list core details such as street name, the official correct name of the street, specific street segments, the detailed technical description, the boundary limits, definition of the exact partial section, including the footage measurements between the specific intersection, cross streets, and parcel boundaries, parcel location, date associated with the tax parcel numbers, including the adjacent lot numbers, and the affected by the right of way. That is required for the commission to fail and violate the state above and has severe.
Your time is up. Thank you. Hearing no more comment, I call this public hearing closed. Moving on to special order -2. It's a public hearing to hear and consider comments regarding the abandonment of a portion of Getty's Avenue. At this time, I call the public hearing open.
Okay, and to continue under the CO2, for all the same rules, do I got to list all the rules
Can you
again?
say your name? No.
Michelle Taylor. Okay. For the commission to fail and to the implications, consequences, financial harm, and loss in legal issues for the city of Adrian residents, property owners, and surrounding neighborhoods, such as permanent encumbrance, trapped, the title quality easement versus fee simple, no automatic controls, restricted access to ownership, confusion, property lines change, property value drop, hazardous of utility recertification, dormant infrastructure, recorded easements, utility company use, and adding utility line issues with property owner, recorded deed easement. Utility reactivation, decertification status, utility can return the land later to install new lines, upgrade, development veto, replacement existing lines and hookups, ineffective financial and legal burdens by state utility codes. Petition property owner may be ordered to by Public Utility Commission to pay old utility infrastructure or debt values by release, hidden debt. And also I wanted to add to that, you guys got the letter. Also, I have big concerns about the LDFA that originated in 2014 is not in
But that doesn't
disrepair.
have to do with this. Thank you.
Oh, it doesn't, does it? But it does. All right. Thank you.
Hearing no more comment, I call this public hearing closed. Oh, sorry, go up. Nope, nope. I reopened it. Go. Okay.
I'm Tom Jacobowski.
726 Elm Street, which is the property we're talking about. We're just talking about a property. This is the old McKinley School. When we bought the property, and again from Adrian Public Schools, we weren't aware at the time that there was an easement there for Getty Street. We did find that out. We went through with the title search and everything, and we were saying it was in process. This has been going on for 3 years now that we've been trying to get through this. In order to make that parcel buildable, to be able to construct anything on there, we need to be able to have that portion of land. It has been abandoned the city didn't even know, it wasn't even listed on the city maps that there was an easement there at any time. We came in and said, we'd just like to clear this up so that we can go ahead with any plans. So I appreciate all the work that Will put into it. And I don't know, Ed, there's really no harm. There's no reason to put a road there. I own the other end of it. All you could do is extend it for 100 feet, which makes absolutely no sense to anyone. So I think this is a good thing for the city to just say, we're good. Okay, we really don't need this anymore. Thank you.
I now call this public hearing closed. Moving on to resolutions. Resolution R26-064 is from Parks and Recreation. It is a resolution to waive the bid process and approve the expenditure of $26,400 to Ron Watson Tree Farms. May I get a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Support.
Before I ask if there are any questions or discussion on this, can you explain, sorry, Matt, I should have asked you ahead of time. Can you explain, Matt, why we would be waiving the bid process and just the discussion of these trees? Because I know we've had some questions via email. That's why I'm asking you to come up. Thank you.
Ron Watson Tree Farms has been our tree provider for Comstock Park for at least the last 10 years. And he has done a great service for us. He actually sold the majority of his business and only kept a portion just to keep us afloat. So he has given us a huge favor by doing this and staying in business. We might need to look for someone in the future, but for now, I think we've been working really well with Ron Watson Tree Farms.
And is it easy to find a place to provide that many?
Yeah,
trees?
we ask for a lot of trees, so it's hard to find a large tree farm around here that can give us a good price.
And also, so the 1 year we did not go, what was the result of that?
We had a whole bunch of dilapidated trees that we had to go find new trees last minute. So
Thanks, man. Any other discussion or questions?
I just think that it's credible. I think that they provide a great service, and I think that the way they've positioned their purchasing and things, it's a good idea to maintain this relationship.
We have a motion from Commissioner Schwartz with a second from Commissioner Moore. Roll call, please.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Zeit,
Yes.
Commissioner Binky,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
Commissioner Cheshire.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution R26-065 is from administration. It is a resolution to set a public hearing regarding an obsolete property rehabilitation exemption certificate application for 122 South Main Street LLC.
So moved.
Support.
Any commissioner discussion or questions on this? We have a motion from Commissioner Binky with a second from Commissioner Zeit. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Zeit,
Yes.
Commissioner Binky,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz.
Yes.
Commissioner Cheshire.
Yes.
Mayor Heath.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution R26-066 is from administration. It is a resolution to select a proposal for the purchase of the fee house. So I just have to ask, we're going to need them when they state their motion to say who. Yes, correct? I'm
Well, I
asking.
think you have it in the resolution.
So we can just go with that. That's why I was asking. Okay. So may I get a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Support.
I do know that there was a recent development our acting city administrator is going to address right now.
I got a call today from the realtor letting me know that there was another proposal that was submitted today, obviously after the deadline, which was last Monday. And there was another call that he received of another person interested in putting in an offer on it, but both of those would have come in after that 30-day deadline. So
And after it was already publicized as well and made public. What was being voted on tonight. We just wanted to make sure in all transparency that, our acting city administrator just wanted to make sure everybody knew that for tonight, so that if it's questioned later, you'll know why, that had happened. Any other discussion or questions on this resolution?
When we put this out, I just want to make it clear that when we put this out, it was to reestablish the fee house as a single family home. And I think that one of the proposals was for bed and breakfast that I read later. Is that true, not, or?
that is, yes, that is correct.
And would the bed and breakfast need a rezoning?
That's an excellent question. I don't have an answer, but my assumption would be yes.
And that would be spot, and I'm throwing that you. That would be spot zoning probably.
Special use.
Oh, no, sorry.
Special use.
All right, so we have a motion from Commissioner Schwartz with a second from Commissioner Banky. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Zeig,
Yes.
Commissioner Banky,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
I'm going to abstain.
Commissioner Cheshire,
I can't, okay, yes.
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
motion carried.
Moving on to resolution R 26 zeros.
Let me back up. Do you have a pecuniary interest in that vote? Do you have money involved?
Do I have my, I'm so broke I can't afford.
Okay. If you don't have a pecuniary interest, you can't abstain. I just want to make sure, because if you do, I don't want you to vote.
Now I can't read that. How do we proceed on this one since we are not going through? Are we just, do we vote to table it? Because we're not technically tabling it.
You don't need to do anything. If
Just leave it
if you
alone.
guys aren't, you kind of put somewhat of a schedule together. If no one supports your resolution, then it's done. Or no one even makes a motion. You don't have to do anything.
Okay, so I'm gonna read it aloud, and does everybody understand that? But I still gotta read it. Okay. Resolution R 26 67 is from the City Commission. It is a resolution to authorize the Human Resources Director to solicit proposals and negotiate an agreement for services for an interim city administrator. May I get a motion to adopt the resolution? Hearing no motion or second. That resolution is dead. Moving on, we have miscellaneous reports. Oh, I almost forgot it because it's on the other side. Sorry about that. CR 26-113 is from Information Technology. It is a resolution to award a bid for the purchase of a file server. May I get a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Support.
Are there any commissioner comments or discussion? I guess Gordy, do you feel comfortable answering some of those questions that were asked earlier? I hate to put you on the spot, but I would just like to hear what you had to say about those questions that were brought up in public comment. Thank you.
Yeah. This proposal is it was put in our budget for this year. So it's all a part of the budget. We had $60,000 in the budget. Our quote was for $54,000. This does include all the hardware, software, licensing, everything we need to set up these. We're going to be using it for 3 servers that we're replacing. One of the servers that we're replacing just died a couple weeks ago. So it's important that we get something done fairly quick. We were able to temporarily move it to one of our other servers so that it's still functioning now. But part of this process is last year or 2 years ago, we put in a new server, and this is a server very similar to that where we'll be housing multiple servers. And so we'll be able to have redundant servers there. And if one fails, we have enough processing power, memory storage that we could duplicate that server if we needed to on a temporary basis. The servers that we're replacing are at end of life. Obviously, one died. The other server is running Windows Server 2016, and end of life is January of 2027. So we have about 6 months worth of support on that, and that it will no longer be supported.
I think the only other question was the company was Dell, correct?
The company's Dell. And we've been purchasing our desktop PCs through Dell because they give us a government discount. So all of our desktop PCs are Dell.
How many file servers does the city of Adrian have?
6.
Thank you.
Yep. 3 of them are currently on one server, and then this will house the other 3 servers. So.
We have a motion from Commissioner Banky with a second from Commissioner Zeik. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher,
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Zeik,
Yes.
Commissioner Banky.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Commissioners, there are miscellaneous reports in your packet. Are there any questions or comments on those? All right, moving on. I know somebody had asked me before this meeting started, this will be the general public comment where you can come up. At this time, we will have public comment. It doesn't have to be something that was discussed tonight or on the agenda, but it still can address that as well. Just to reiterate, there is a 3-minute time limit, and for the record, please state your name and place of residence. We will begin inside the chambers first. When we have exhausted all comment inside the chambers, we will then open it up to the Zoom participants.
Michelle Taylor, Adrian, Michigan. First starting off, I'm not too sure what happened with the SO1 and the SO2 one here, and then the previous one I brought up. And then also I'd like this time, I would like to bring up, I have concern about the LDFA that got established in 2014. It is not in the true spirit, and it is not in with the original agreement. That would be the Ann Arbor that went with the Ann Arbor Spark that formed down into the satellite Ann Arbor Tecumseh Spark LDFA that's based off the TIFF. As the concerning the 2014 hybrid, it got brought to my attention back on April 7th of 2025. There was somebody that came in, Todd Brown. He came in on behalf of a J. Marks and brought to us a contract that was not of, and they said it was a grant, but with that grant, they said they had to have a review of it. And with that review, they said that it had to come, they said if accepted, they would go into negotiations. Now, a grant, there's no negotiations. Do you try to negotiate for less of a grant? Also, there was no MEDC grant number through the state of Michigan. There's no record that this grant was given. So, and then there's inconsistencies with 2 of the minutes. There's 2 different minutes plus the video. None of it matches. So the minutes were redone twice. The video is completely inconsistent. And then later on, the minutes were redone, totally restates that this was a grant. And so we need transparency. And then today, the seats are totally unmanned at the Adrian zoning, and it fails to uphold what was originally agreed in the 2014 agreement, and then again rediscussed briefly in 2021. So we have a vacancy there, unmanned. They're talking about budgets and pushing things around. Tecumseh, the woman by the last name Gilmore, she confirmed with Lenawee now and with Adrian that we do not have anybody in that seat. Also, I want to say that a company, VIP, DRP, along with Manic Smith of Adrian. They just kind of went into phase 3. They joined together and they're positioning to take over, and it would be something else. It would not be our LDF. It would be something else. And I think, isn't there talks that they would get paid $35,000 to do this? And ironically, and very seldom in life is there irony, but all this is to give jobs.
Your time is out. Thank you.
Casey White, Madison Township. I have a question. I know you cannot answer me back, but maybe at commissioner comment, someone will clarify which part of Railroad Avenue, the 160 feet, is being abandoned. I'm assuming it's the section that runs behind UPS, but that was not specific.
It is.
Okay, thank you.
And anybody else asking about the special order, the public hearing, there was no action tonight. That was simply the hearings. There was no action taken on either one of those tonight.
Hello, I'm Diana Smith. I live at 125 Bristol Street. I'm here on behalf of my neighbors that surround SkyTech Sports Bar on Bristol Street. I believe our neighborhood needs to be heard. This is not about trying to shut down a local business. It's about finding a resolution and a reasonable balance between allowing allowing a business to operate successfully and ensuring the residents who live nearby can enjoy peace and safety and quiet. Since the bar opened, our neighborhood has experienced ongoing problems that have significantly affected our quality of life. We regularly deal with loud music till 2 a.m., vehicles racing down our streets, patrons parking in our residents' driveways, and customers leaving behind broken glass, beer cans, and other litter, particularly in the Legion parking lot that the bar has permission to use. Unfortunately, the problems extend beyond the noise. There have been fights, threats of violence, including people threatening to shoot one another, and individuals throwing objects over my fence at my dogs. On one occasion, we found an intoxicated person sitting on my front porch. Incidents like this demonstrate that these problems are no longer confined to the bar property. They are spilling directly into our neighborhood and onto our private property. Bright exterior lights have also shown in nearby homes late at night, making it difficult for residents to sleep. As neighbors, we find ourselves calling the police repeatedly for fights, disturbances, excessive noise, and other incidents. There's been 42 calls since January. This has become an unnecessary drain on law enforcement resources. By the time officers arrive, the situation is often over, leaving little they can do. This is not a criticism of our police officers. They respond professionally whenever they are called, but it illustrates the critical situation that is not sustainable. I have even received a letter from the bar owner's attorney demanding that I stop posting on social media because my comments were allegedly affecting the business. My posts did not encourage anyone to avoid the business. They simply asked those visiting our town and the bar to be respectful of the surrounding neighborhood. Asking for basic respect and consideration should not result in legal threats. I understand that this business owner cannot control every action of every customer once they leave the establishment. However, there is proactive measures that can reduce these issues. Having the bar operate till 2 a.m. 6 nights a week in the middle of a residential neighborhood has had a significant impact on the families who live here. For my family, the issue is especially difficult because I have a disabled daughter whose sleep is regularly disrupted by the constant noise and disturbances. Our home should be a place where we can rest peacefully, not a place where we spend every weekend wondering if there will be another fight, another police response, or another sleepless night. I respectfully ask the council to help facilitate a reasonable compromise so that we can eliminate some of these issues that we're having. I thank you for your time and for listening.
Thank you.
Vince Emmer, Chief of Police for the City of Adrian. I asked Mrs. Smith to come in tonight. We've been communicating by email. She's correct on the number of police responses out there. Also, the nature of them, the noise, the fighting, a lot of that is resolved, dissipated by the time we get there. So sometimes there is a little that we can do when we arrive. I can share that we have regular contact with our representative at LARA, our licensing and regulatory. So the agent has been down to meet with the owners at SkyTech. We had a hearing a few weeks back, and as a matter of fact, this morning I received notification that they reached a plea with LARA on that arrangement as well. So they did take responsibility for the event that they were summoned for. So it's an ongoing issue, and I did want you to hear directly from Ms. Smith that it's something that we deal with pretty regularly. So we're working on it. Thank you.
Thanks.
My name is Georgia Gallant, owner of Gallant and Son in Adrian, Michigan. I'm here today to talk about the process which was supposed to be followed by bid last meeting. I want you to know that I was not sent any information about putting a bid on that lawnmower. I was called by Jason Lawrence. I neglected to write down the date he called me, but it was for the first month, part of July. And I thought this was very strange because I've been operating this business for 68 years. And whenever there's been a bid, I've been sent it by mail or I've been sent it by email. And I did put in a price as he requested, but he gave me no model. He gave me a few specifications. So I came up with the model to his specifications, and then I gave a quote. And then after this meeting, which I watched online, I received a visit from Jason, and he brings me in a paper with the Toro model that he wants. So then I did give him another quote. And bids to me mean nothing because I make hardly nothing on those bids. It's just helping out the city. And in the meantime, I was banned. People on Facebook ran me down. People on the internet ran me down. And I've been a respected person in this community for 68 years. I have paid taxes on 5 properties for 68 years. And I'm very upset with the way this was handled. And I think I'm owed an apology by this commission, with the city, and by WLEN because they said a few things that I wasn't happy with. So I don't know what more to say about it, but I am very frustrated. Recently, I did receive, as a matter of fact, I have it right here. It was dated July 30th. I finally received a bid. So it's been taken care of. But I just wanted you to know that I'm very, very frustrated over the way I was run down in this city that I've lived in for 68 years.
Well, I want to thank you, first of all. I want you to know that I invited my lovely wife to speak, and she said, not a chance. So I'm not trying to hog any kind of attention here. I would have been glad to send her up here. I simply want to say thank you for the support you've given for my proposal. It's been an 18-month process. The house was built in 1845. It was substantially added on to and improved by the Fee family in the 1930s. That's one of the things that makes it so viable to continue to restore it, because it doesn't have a 180-year-old foundation under it. It has a 90-year-old foundation. It's a fascinating history. The Kimball family, you may not know this, I found it by some research at the Historical Museum, called it the Oaks. And in fact, when Commissioner Benke and I met over there, I had just finished measuring one of the oak trees that's still there. It's 14 feet in diameter. It's quite a specimen. I think it's something people don't pay attention to. But I got a history degree and I'm an old house guy. So you look at this crazy stuff. We simply hope to leave a legacy for the city of Adrian and for Lenawee County. It will never be the same scale and scope that the Fee family was able to leave, but this is our ability to give back to the community. And I just wanted to thank you for that. Another question that will come up is whether or not we're moving here right away, which would make me ineligible to continue to serve as county commissioner in my district. That's not the case. It's going to be a several-year process as we continue to move forward, but I know that question will come up. So again, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you.
I think a survey for what the public thinks would be amazing. Catherine Ring, City of Adrian. a survey. We just did one for the Adrian Mall to hand on to the owner, and thousands of people responded. It was actually shocking. I think you would get a good response for that. For the interim city administrator, I'm kind of like, y'all need to figure out what you really want, because it's go fast, move slow, go fast. I don't know if giving it to the person who at the helm at Adrian Public Schools, like there was a mass exodus. Adrian Public Schools has never experienced as many students leaving under the helm of this person. I don't know if we want to do that for the city of Adrian. I don't know this person, but I do like numbers, and numbers don't lie. And so I think we need to consider that as well. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioner, or Mayor, Commissioners. Nancy O'Connor, City of Adrian, lifelong resident. I've never been at a loss for words before, but listening to the conversations tonight about the interim position and Will stepping down and all of that that goes along with it, it really saddens me because I heard two people say, I know you want to get out of here. I'm like really taken back by that. You know, I've been involved in this city. I was born and raised here, and I have never seen such chaos among people sitting on this dais ever. I think we all, and I would hope that we would all want to move the city forward, but I'm starting to rethink all of this now. And that is not my purpose to come up here tonight and speak about that, because my, what I would like to speak about is on totally something different. But may I just add that if Commissioner Binky, and this is not anything negative against you, but if he does put in for this interim position, are the employees of the city going to get a survey or something that they can speak on this, being that he goes from a commissioner to their boss? I mean, I'm just asking. I think that'd be the right thing to do. Okay, so this brings me to my, and I better hurry up because I only got a minute left. I did a FOIA because I had a few people reach out to me about the spending of the projects and things with Mannix Smith and the Smith Company. Michelle and I went back and forth trying to figure out what is it that I wanted, what, you know, asked for. And I got 60-some pages so far of invoices from Mannix Smith. There's Gonzalez LLC. There's some in here from J. Marks. There's Will Sadler's in here. Matt Tomazinski's in here. And again, and I'm not speaking tonight negatively on anybody in these departments, but when I added things up, and I'm not the smartest person, nor am I an accountant, the descriptions of these are like conceptual site plan, city meetings, reports, I mean, final plans, and these amounts are like, this is, I think I added up just from June of 25 through July of 26, it was over $1 million. But yet we don't have some of these positions filled. And another question, because I just see that this current commission approved a 5-year contract with Mannix Smith. You just renewed this in January of 26. So when you guys approve the contract for Mannix Smith, and I'm not saying there's any wrongdoing with them either, but it's concerning to me, as it should be everyone else. Do you guys ever go back and look at the expenditures? Or once you approve this, do you not pay attention to it? You know what I mean? Do you just not pay attention to it anymore? That's my question.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I will now open it up to the Zoom participants for public comment.
Keith Miller, City of Adrian.
Go ahead, Keith.
Gulf Street, or not Gulf Street, Center Street. Has anybody drove down there and been over them railroad tracks? I can't believe how rough Center Street is right there. It about knocked the bottom end out of your car going over that. I realized Gulf Street was bad, but I think them railroad tracks over there at Center Street were a lot worse. I know you guys have no control over the railroad tracks, but you do have some control over getting them fixed. And I do believe that should be fixed before it gets worse than what it is now. I guess that's about all I want to say. Y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you. Hearing no more public comment, we're going to move on to commissioner comments. I would, one thing I had written down that I was going to bring up, I was not wanting, it's something that I'd like to discuss in the near future. Now that we're doing this interim search, it may not be able to happen right away. But I would like to, we've had the public really reach out when it comes to water and their concerns, and there's a lot of people doing a lot of work on it and really looking into it. And there's been some really great input, and, just start thinking. I just kind of wanted to put this on your radar about possibly, like, we have a water ad hoc committee, like, that's just looking at that, comprised of citizens, but I don't want to do that right now to Will with doing that. But I know that I would want Will involved with it, a commissioner, like there are other ad hoc committees, maybe it's two. I don't know what that looks like. I just want to put that on your radar right now to start thinking about, and you can give me input as well. But I just know that, from the water town hall, we heard that loud and clear that, we've got somebody that really looks into, grants, and it may not be, we can just hear these ideas and then vet them and start working on it, but give some support to our utilities director. That's what I'm looking at it for. I'm not looking at it, I'm looking at this from the positive lens. We have community members that really want to support and give support to Will. One person can't do this alone, and just more hands make, light work, and the more that we can get involved. So it's just something that I would like to put out there to really start thinking about. Another thing, I I've always known somebody for a long time that was a former city commissioner, Chuck Chase. He served for 28 years. I just found out, so I asked him if he would share this with me. He wrote an editorial piece in the Daily Telegram in 2005. Okay, and things were going very awry. In fact, at that point, they were saying that it was more controversy. Sorry, I can't talk right now. More controversy and more press than the city commission had ever seen. And that was in 2005. So I'm not saying that to say that I'm not comparing it's worse now than it was then. I'm not saying it's better now than it was then. What I'm saying is there have been trials and tribulations. There have been other times where there have been things not going well. And Adrian pulls through, and I fully believe, and I felt the conversation tonight was, during our discussion time, showed a lot of promise of that. I heard compromise. I heard listening to each other. I heard working together. It doesn't mean we have to agree on everything, but I definitely heard that agreeing to disagree and really trying to have constructive discussion. And I'm very grateful and thankful. And I'm also just wanting to say how grateful I am that all of you have been putting in the time to meet with me and spend a lot of time so that I can get to hear your concerns. But one thing that Chuck Chase wrote in this editorial is that, An elected public official must be willing to listen to constituents, collaborate with fellow commissioners, and respect others' opinions, even though they may not always agree with them. They must weigh all sides of an issue, seek the advice and counsel from professionals, and possess an innate ability to formulate decisions based on factual information. They must have a laser-sharp focus on being fair and consistent in the discharge of the duties outlined in Adrian City Charter, while staying above the fray of the media and the Monday morning quarterbacks who delight in second-guessing what we were elected to do. Now, this was 2005, so now that would be your keyboard warriors from social media, so that has changed. Most of all, the position of an elected public official requires an unwavering commitment to a job whose pay and perks are virtually non-existent, where kudos for things one do right are rare indeed, where emotional tolls are generally the rule rather than the exception, where one's every move is subject to public scrutiny and broad criticism in the press, but where oddly enough, the personal satisfaction one gains by serving in this capacity cannot be explained. So I just kind of wanted to leave us with that. I felt like it was a good reminder, but it was also good to hear that perspective from 21 years ago. So we have made it through tough times, and I was highly encouraged by the discussion tonight and the open-mindedness and being frank, but also listening to one another and really trying to grasp what each other was saying. So thank you very much for that respect of one another.
I wanted to say thank you to APD. I was able to take a ride along for almost one whole shift. I decided to ask for a 10 p.m. to a 6 a.m. shift, and then I had to go to work in the morning, so I stopped at 4 a.m. But I wanted to say thank you to Officer Major. He was the one who I actually did the ride along with. Very sharp, very smart, and very good at his job. And I wanted to extend a thank you also to Lieutenant Wisniewski and Officer Perry and Officer Duarte, who were also on shift that night, who all kind of gave me a better understanding of what APD does, specifically on third shift. So that was a really great opportunity. And I encourage the rest of the commission to go on a ride along at some point, maybe not third shift. It was a very late night, but it was exciting and very cool to see the extent of what our police officers can handle.
I'd like to compliment the Adrian Fire Department on social media. There was a post put out. The fire department was coming back from a call, and some children had a lemonade stand, and they took their time to stop, get lemonade, and support the local kids for what they were doing. And I think it's amazing the communication they're getting from the fire department now to everybody in the city of what's going on. I really appreciate that. I appreciate the mayor reaching out and having a talk about goals, talk about what we want to do with the city, talk about how the obstacles and how we can overcome those. And I would like to piggyback that I think tonight's discussion was productive and good. It wasn't standing ground. It was looking and trying to honestly figure out what's the best path that we could do.
Just a reminder, I know that we have the water testing that's going to be coming up at Lake Erie on August 12th. I know that I registered for that, and I understand Commissioner Roberts registered for that. I'm not sure if anyone else did, but the information we get, we'll share that with the rest of the commission so that you're aware of that. A big thank you to local business, the Brick Wall Pub. They fried up, I think it was 26 catfish that were caught by the clients from the Hope Center and children at the Jenna Cross home. So lots of smiles there as some of them caught their first fish ever. And then we had our fish and chips lunch at the Brick Wall. So thank you for their support of that program as well. And just one question or I guess a tip to Will. Can you share any input related to the meeting that you had with Eagle about some potential emerging funds there?
Yeah, we had a meeting with Eagle, just an impromptu meeting. They were in town. Don, he just mentioned that the state has some funds available for what they call emerging contaminants, and one of them is algae. Mike is his boss, and Mike just had all of his district engineers, like Don, go visit their plants and just get ideas of what they could ask for out of that money. So we threw some ideas at him, and he's going to take that back to his superiors, and then we don't know if we'll get anything out of it or not, but it was a good conversation that we had with them. So
I would like to add, thank you for coming to the meeting, Mrs. Gallant, because I believe the city does owe you an apology because the RFP, a phone call doesn't do it. And I realize you did not get an email from, Sourcewell? Was that the one you were?
Is that the name of it, Matt? Sourcewell? Yeah.
You did not get an email from Sourcewell, so I hope that the city will waive the bid process for this mower for you, since you've been here 68 years paying taxes and doing a good job. Also, Mayor, I like to comment what you're trying to do on the water committee, but now for this is the third meeting. I'm not sure why we have to wait. I think you can multitask. This commission can multitask. We should have a commission for the water. We should start one for Bone Pool, and we should start one on finance, because those are the three areas that this city really needs help on.
Just a reminder to everybody that First Friday is this Friday, and the reason I am reminding you is because if you're not aware, we will have many visitors from out of town, as the Croswell will be having their reunion for their 160th, and there are people coming from all over the country for this. It is going to be huge, so we will have a lot of visitors, so make sure that you say hi and give them a great welcome back to Adrian for their reunion that will be happening during First Friday, this Friday. May I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.